Good morning, everybody. This is Kyle Speed One coming to you from the racetrack. Yeah. Well, today's special guest is a Lamborghini, and it is manufactured by Auto Art. It has some pretty neat features to it. One, headlights and taillights, but that's not the most distinct feature. And currently I have it running on my throttle press that I've shown before. Okay. It's got a pretty detailed body and wheels to it. They are unique in how they're set up in their guide and the contacts that power up the motor and the lights. I'm not going to take it apart. I just put it back together because I just got through changing out the copper braids to tin braids. Okay, like I said in my brushes video, and as you can see, it's running flawlessly. It doesn't have a whole lot of time on the car. I lubed it up again. But it seems to be doing just fine. Trying to catch it down the track. Whee! Yeah, it's fast. Okay. This is the Auto Art Lamborghini. Lamborghini. All right. And I'm going to try to say this name, and y'all can laugh at me if you want to. I understand. I get tongue-tied when I try to speak a foreign languages, especially their name or their words, period. So, yeah, I'm Texan. I'm a country hick. So you'll just have to forgive me on my pronunciation. Here's what it is. Lamborghini Murcielago. I did my best. It's a beautiful little car. As I said, some of the details on it are pretty neat. If you notice, it's got gold. The paint is gold and it has some metallic in it. Okay, which, you know, this is a street car. It's not well, you could race it if you wanted to, but it's the street version of the car. The wheels are really nice. It even shows the disc brakes. Okay. There's the rear end. It's got a sassy rear end. She got a sassy caboose with the exhaust coming out and the tail lights, and it's got the black rear deck lid louver on there. And yes, I did go back with my Tamiya panel line paint and, you know, touch up the hood and the doors and the rear hatch. Some of it's wore off. I didn't put a clear coat on it. Now, for those who are not familiar with Auto Art, as I stated before, they've got some different ways about tackling the problem with power distribution between the guide into the motor. And Auto Art is definitely different from some other manufacturers. Y'all see these two copper tabs that elongate out to the brush holder, the guide, and it makes contact with those tabs that are supplying power to the motor and of course to the lights. That's one unique feature. Something else that you might have already noticed is there's a gear here. Yep, there sure is a gear there. There's a gear there on the rear of the car and on the front of the car. Huh. Well, hang on a second. What this has is, here's the S-can motor. On this end of the motor, the shaft comes out with a pinion that makes contact with the gear. Here, between the front bell of the S-can motor, there's an extended shaft that goes to a pilot bearing with its own pinion gear that makes contact with this white nylon gear. So yes, I don't know if I can do this one-handed. If you watch closely, all four wheels turn. It's got four-wheel drive with the addition of headlights and taillights. So, some of my other Auto Art cars, I'm currently in the process of changing out the braids from copper to tin coated. And that's, as I told you in my video about the type of rails and the material that they're made out of, and not dirtying up your track with dissimilar metals. Okay, so I've got I've got three more cars to do from Auto Art. I had a total of 5, and I've got this one, and I've got this, some of you will recognize Lamborghini Mira done with the changeover to silver braid, or with tin braid rather. And that pretty much, covers Auto Art. Some of the cars are four-wheel drive, and some of them aren't. The gear noise is not too bad, but it is present. It does have a magnet in it, and it is only analog, which I've stated before. In using my axle box to switch between analog and digital, he's got a beard hair there. I've got a long beard. These are the two buttons the black ones, that you can actually shut the power off on the track. Those two toggle switches are the ones that you can switch between using digital cars and analog cars. And when I talk about the power switches, the yellow is for one lane and the green is for the other lane. So you can power down if you want to, one lane or both lanes or however you want to do it. Woo! Good looking car, runs really well. Some people do not like the way that Auto Art has configured the power distribution between the brushes on the guide to those contacts tabs, and then going to the motor to supply power. The only thing I can tell you is like on this particular car, after I had done the 10 braid changeover, I actually had to come back, and I'll try to show you. I had to come back and actually bend gently, carefully, and not extreme. I actually had to bend the tip from about here, from this point here down a little in order to make better contact with the pad of the braid. Okay, I don't know if you can see it there. I'll try to get into the light. But that braid loops around through these slots that are in the guide. So it does, part of this braid does offer a contact spot for this copper tab to make contact with. Now, remember what I said about dissimilar metals? Well, I'm using a 10 braid. Oops, I meant to turn that off. I'm using a 10 braid against my Carrera track. But I'm also using 10 braid against my contact for the motor. And they're copper. In color, at least. So I'm going to have some dissimilar metal spooge, film, color change. I'm going to have a reaction between two dissimilar metals, okay? And that can't be helped. I would actually have to take these tabs off, and they're so thin. There you can kind of see the bend that I made to make better contact. It is because of these tabs, it is spring loaded. Okay, so that's kind of a neat feature, that because of these arms, contact arms, that it becomes spring loaded. But these are so thin that if I tried to plate them in silver or in tin, I could distort them, warp them, and I could create a condition which would make those arms brittle and they would break. So I'd rather live with taking a cleaner and cleaning between the two surfaces of the braid and the arm, and wiping it down with a rag, a soft rag or something, a Q-tip, something like that, than pollute the rails on my track. So that's just me. That's the decision that I've made. If you don't have any Auto Arts slot cars, all of these I've bought on eBay because I don't have a hobby shop nearby that deals in slot cars. So my only recourse is an online shop or eBay. That's basically it. And if you don't have and you haven't experimented with auto art, sometimes you can find them actually very, very cheap. That's another thing. Some of the rarer models are a little bit more expensive because they're rare and there's too few of them left available for public consumption. But in some cases, you'll find that some people are selling them pretty cheap. And if you pick up one for like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, I think personally you still made a great deal versus the cost of Carrera or Scale Electric or some of the other manufacturers. I haven't had any trouble with the drivetrain on this one. I've got a Porsche and I've got the Bugatti. What do they call it? The Huron. This blue car here, as well as this Lamborghini Murcielago. Let's see. I think this is. No, those two are flies. Anyway, and there's the Lamborghini again. And I've rambled on long enough about this car. Again, if you haven't tried one, I invite you to go ahead and try. And you may like it and you may not like it. And as you see here, some of them are equipped with a switch, a slide switch, marked right and left. So you can go right hand or left hand direction with your motor, okay? So I can either go, as it sits right now, it's labeled as left hand. So as you can see my track, you start off here and you're moving off to the left. If you switch that switch around, I can go that way. I can go right down the track. Okay? But remember, this is analog. It's not digital. Excuse me. I could put a digital chip in there that's got its little electric eye reader, so you can trigger. Where is it? Can't find one when I want one. There it is. So on the Carrera track, you can actually trigger the turnouts or the turn ins on lane changes, or the turnout for going into the pit. I will not be putting a digital chip in this. For one, it's limited in its room. I would have to use the digital chips that are not configured like the Carrera chip on that one massive green PC board. But it's a smaller square, more compact. And the electric eye pickup has to be soldered onto that chip, and you have to drill a hole the right distance from center okay, from the center of the body of the car, chassis of the car, and you have to drill it. And they give you instructions on those kits. You'd have to drill it out and then glue that pickup into place so you can trip through the digital running of the track. And I'm just not going to do that. It really doesn't have enough room. Plus, those digital chips are getting expensive nowadays. And if I had to buy one, I'd buy a Carrera digital chip and finish up chipping some of my other Carrera cars that haven't been done yet. Okay? So I've got a couple of Scalextric cars that I have used the Carson chip in order to run digital, and they work fine. They work beautifully. But in these cases, in most cases, like these kit cars that I built, I'm not going to put a chip in them. Even some of my old Fly cars or MRRCs or Revell monograms or any of those, I'm not going to put chips in them. But that's the introduction to Auto Art, the Lamborghini Murcielago from Auto Art. Lighted and four-wheel drive. Until next time, folks, y'all take care. I'm going to keep changing brushes out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.